I want to talk a little bit about something that I've been really reflecting on with the Emperor recently, that I am excited to share in the context of breaking down fear of judgment. The Emperor is an authority figure. The Emperor has a paternal, sort of overseeing vibe. There is this feeling that we need to bend to the Emperor's rules, that we almost sort of live under the Emperor's roof, and the Emperor, in an exacting and perhaps a disciplinarian way, quite a stern way, is going to show us what is what and let us know what we can get away with and the boundaries that we need to keep inside of. And obviously for the vast majority of people who pick up a tarot deck or receive tarot readings, we are not into that, right? We usually have gone off-road in our way of seeing things, and we do not like to be told what to do. When I see the Emperor coming up, I think to myself, whereabouts do I have a little Emperor living inside me, a little rule maker, a little disciplinarian, a little part of me that is telling myself that there are certain rules, there are certain things that I need to abide by, and that if I go outside of those rules and if I kind of break from convention, then I am risking judgment and I'm risking alienation, or I'm risking some kind of consequence, some kind of fallout from being who I want to be in the world and doing whatever it is that I want to do. Sometimes it is you yourself that is creating a bunch of rules and a bunch of boundaries that you don't necessarily believe in, and they're not giving you any joy. Those boundaries, those regulations are not giving you joy, but you are being very exacting upon yourself. You are being almost the stern disciplinarian inside your own psyche, and you may even be projecting that onto other people. You may be walking around actually with your own set of judgments about the ways in which other people are breaking convention from that inner kind of shadowy Emperor energy inside of you. I think sometimes when we fear other people's judgment, it is because we ourselves are putting out judgments towards other people who have broken with convention, or who are doing things differently, or making life decisions that we ourselves wouldn't necessarily choose. So I think with the Emperor, I'm looking at the Emperor and I'm thinking, okay, this is that sort of exacting energy, the rule maker, the person who says what's okay and what's not okay, the disciplinarian, the person who enforces. And I look at that and I think, okay, first of all, we need to recognize that there's a sacred defiance in going against that energy. And it's an amazing thing to do that. And when we decide that we are going to live our lives and make our decisions, regardless of the way other people might judge us from their own perspectives, that is sacred defiance in action. And there is something really beautiful and really spiritual about that. But I think also we need to look at whereabouts are we being the shadowy side of the Emperor inside of ourselves. So let's have a look now at the cutaway for Page of Pentacles from Modern Witch Tarot, darlings. And I want to talk a little bit about what is going on here that we can really tap into when it comes to fear of judgment. Page of Pentacles is about really visualizing what it is that you want, whether it is a feeling that you want to bring in, whether it is a project that you want to bring to fruition, whatever it might be. When you are at the end of your journey on this earth, only you are going to be responsible for whether or not you have at all brought that vision into manifestation, into reality. And really at that point, it becomes immaterial whether or not somebody else supported you, whether or not somebody else understood what you were trying to do, or whether they ultimately felt happy for you when you achieved that aim. It's really going to become much more important to you during the very, very winter of your life that you went ahead and you pursued whatever that pentacle happens to be. This is somebody who is nurturing and holding a vision of something that they want to build, something they want to plant and nurture to see it grow, something that they really want to achieve, that they want to make. And that is exactly the energy that you can be thinking about to counteract any feeling that you are fearful of the judgments that others may have. It's about what you are building. And in the end, you are the only person living your life. You are the only person that is going to be there at the moment where your life is over and you have no more time left. And I'm sorry to get morbid, but you know I'm into deathbed perspective. You know I'm into sort of turning and asking death, who is my wisest advisor. I'm very Carlos Castaneda about the whole thing. So I do think when I'm looking at Page of Pentacles about somebody who is living life on their terms and building what really matters to them. And in the end, it is you that is going to have to be responsible and hold yourself accountable for how much you allowed fear of judgment to hold you back from doing that. Now, I know there's lots of people that watch my videos who are very encouraging, very loving, space holders for others. You are support systems for others. You are often people that do encourage others to go out there and fucking live their best life and really experience everything that they want to experience. So I want you to imagine that you're coming up behind the Page of Pentacles figure and you are whispering some loving encouragement into the Page of Pentacles ear and saying, yeah, go for it, live that dream, look at that pentacle, visualize what you want and plant that thing in the ground and really go for it. I want you to imagine that you are giving that loving encouragement to that figure that is having a dream, that is nursing a vision. I think Three of Swords is about the level of sensitivity and the level of vulnerability that we bring to the idea that other people could judge what we do. I think we do need to ask ourselves whether or not something should hurt to the extent that it does. And I know this can get a bit difficult because I know that when something feels very tender, it can be really difficult to come to this idea that it doesn't need to feel that tender. It really doesn't need to hurt that much. It doesn't need to be that serious. But I think that's what Three of Swords might be asking us to consider in this context. Obviously, there's a lot of tenderness, there's a lot of wounds, there's a lot of vulnerability in Three of Swords. The heart is completely open and it's been stabbed multiple times. So there is this feeling that there are wounds there. But to me, I look at that and I think, okay, but is this really what needs to be happening? First of all, do we need to expose our heart to this kind of woundage that comes from ridicule, that comes from lack of acceptance, that comes from a feeling that we want other people to accept what we're doing or who we are so much that if they don't, it feels like a stab in the psycho-spiritual heart. It feels like, a proverbial injury to us? Or can it be the case that we can actually question our level of sensitivity and even our level of openness to the critique of others and say, you know what, I'm going to kind of close this up. I'm going to close up shop a little bit because actually I don't need to decide that every single time somebody judges me or I feel like somebody's judging me or they say something that is kind of a judgment of what I'm doing, I need to take it as a heartbreaking thing or a very serious thing. Sometimes I think it's good to just sort of tough love our way through the level of seriousness that we give to things and the level of vulnerability that we feel around certain things. If somebody has a judgment of what you're doing, it doesn't actually need to deter you from doing it, nor does it need to be something that you lose sleep over. And I think if you've been losing sleep over the judgments of others for a long time, or you've been really feeling like that's a massive obstacle that you need to get through, it could be kind of revolutionary for you on a personal level to think, does it have to be that serious? Does it have to be that serious? And look, everybody's had their own judgments, or at least their own strong discernments about other people. Everybody watching this video has had a judgment about somebody that they would like to get closer to as a friend, somebody that they don't want to spend that much time with as a friend. Everybody's had their judgments about whether or not they want to work at a company or whether or not they want to watch someone's videos or whatever it might be. Do you think that your judgment needs to deter somebody else from doing what they're doing? Do you think that your judgment should make somebody else lose sleep over whether or not you agree? No, you're allowed to have a judgment and they're allowed to carry on fucking living their best life.